Every day, billions of people type google.com and press enter, and within a second, Google's homepage appears. But have you ever wondered what actually happens during that 1 second? How does your computer know where Google is? How does your request travel across the world? And how does Google send the web page back so quickly? Let's follow every step of that incredible journey. The moment you press enter, your browser begins looking for Google's address. But before searching the internet, it first checks its own memory. If you visited Google recently, your browser may already remember Google's address. This temporary memory is called the cache. If the address is found there, your browser skips several steps and immediately starts connecting to Google. But suppose it doesn't remember. Now your computer has a problem to solve. Why can't my computer understand google.com? Humans like names, amazon.com, youtube.com, google.com. They're easy for us to remember. But computers don't understand names. They only understand numbers. Just like every house has a unique postal address, every website has a unique numerical address called an IP address. Imagine trying to remember numbers like that for every website you visit. That's why we use names instead. But if computers only understand numbers, who converts google.com into its numerical address? Now comes DNS. DNS stands for Domain Name System. Think of DNS as the phone book of the internet. Imagine you want to call your friend Andy. You don't remember Andy's phone number. You simply search for Andy in your contacts. Your phone finds the number automatically. DNS works exactly the same way. When you type google.com, your computer asks a DNS server, "What is the IP address of google.com?" The DNS server searches its database and replies with Google's numerical address. Now your computer finally knows where Google lives. But knowing the address isn't enough. How it reaches to that address. Via routers. Imagine you're driving from Texas to New York. At every intersection, road signs tell you which road to take next. A router works just like those road signs. Its only job is to read the destination address and decide the best path for your data. Your request leaves your computer, travels to your Wi-Fi router, then to your internet service provider. Then through many routers across cities and countries, every router asks one simple question: which path gets this data closer to Google? It forwards the request to the next router until it finally reaches Google's data center. Most of the journey happens through fiber optic cables. Instead of using electricity, your data travels as tiny pulses of laser light. These light pulses race through ultra-thin glass fibers at nearly 200,000 kilometers per second. If Google's server is in another country, your request may even travel through undersea fiber optic cables lying on the ocean floor. Within milliseconds, your request reaches Google. How does your browser know it's really talking to Google and not a fake website? Before Google sends anything back, it must prove its identity. It does this using a digital certificate. Think of it as an online identity card. Your browser checks the certificate. If it's genuine, both sides create an encrypted connection called HTTPS. Encryption scrambles your data so that even if someone intercepts it, they can't understand it. That's why you see the small padlock icon beside most website addresses. Now Google is ready to send the web page. But does Google send one giant file? Not at all. Instead of sending one huge file, Google divides the web page into hundreds of tiny pieces called packets. Imagine sending a 1,000-page book. Instead of placing everything into one massive box, you divide it into hundreds of numbered envelopes. If one envelope gets lost, you only resend that envelope instead of the entire book. The internet works the same way. Google sends hundreds of packets simultaneously. Sometimes different packets even take different routes before reaching your computer. Finally, all those packets arrive. But how do they become a web page? How does my browser build Google's homepage? Your browser collects every packet and places them back in the correct order. Then it starts building the web page. HTML creates the structure. CSS adds colors and design. JavaScript makes buttons, animations, and search suggestions work. Images, icons, and fonts are downloaded. Within less than a second, everything comes together, and Google's homepage appears on your screen. If one envelope gets lost, you only resend that envelope instead of the entire book. The next time you type google.com, remember, your browser searched its memory. DNS found Google's address. Routers guided your request across the internet. Fiber optic cables carried it as pulses of light. HTTPS secured the connection. Google broke the web page into packets, and your browser rebuilt everything on your screen.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to The Curious Tech. Every week, we simplify complex technology into easy-to-understand explanations that make you see the digital world in a whole new way. Thank you for watching.